I think the medical team has done a really good job of, doing my rehab every single day, staying in a routine, coming in, getting shots up. But more than anything, I think just focusing on being a really good teammate, being there for my teammates, being a voice for them, because that's what I am when I'm playing. So you got to still be that consistent voice when I'm sitting on the bench. So I try to do that as much as I can for them. And just try to be there for them, I think, has been my focus. And I think that can kind of distract you from not actually playing, is when you just focus on your teammates and, how
the WNBA experienced a multi-million-dollar explosion thanks to one player, propelling the league to unprecedented heights of national prominence. However, the very people who stand to benefit the most from this incredible accomplishment are deliberately sabotaging it rather than celebrating it. Prepare yourself for the unanticipated resistance, the perplexing self-destruction, and the unsaid realities at the core of an unstoppable revolution.
When you're out there playing and actually in the heat of the moment, you don't always realize everything. You don't always see everything. You see things from a different perspective that maybe the coaching staff didn't see. So it's certainly different. So I'm trying to, kind of be that connector between the coaches and then my teammates at the same time, whether, that's in the locker room at halftime, whether that's during timeouts. So, things I see from the bench that maybe might be a little bit different of a perspective than maybe our point guard is seeing, or, anybody on the floor is seeing. But yeah, I think it's taught me a lot. I've never been in that position before of actually getting to watch from the bench for an extended period of time. So I think you can learn the game of basketball just the same amount. It's the same as you turn on the TV and watch the NBA, or you watch other WNBA games. That's the best way to learn basketball, is just watch and absorb it. And it's the same when.
Imagine a financial earthquake where the name of a single player on a roster can cause prices to skyrocket by thousands of %, turning $3 tickets into a king's ransom. That is the startling truth behind what many people refer to as Clark Comics nowadays. Despite being loved by its core fanbase, the WNBA mostly functioned in the shadows of popular sports before this force reached the scene. To put it simply, the tickets were reasonably priced and frequently just included a small gift, but as soon as she arrived, the market took off. Imagine that the Mystics are playing a game called Fever. A ticket had only made $3 before Clark's entire arrival, but it quickly gained value. Every move she makes on the court adds to her worth. This was no easy ascent. The abrupt increase in the league's economy contradicted all prior estimates. An almost unbelievable disturbance of the status quo.
Waited this weekend, so I'll miss this weekend's game, but after that, it's, day by day and see how I feel and just kind of turn to the medical staff and what they think. But I feel like I've made a lot of progress and I feel good, and, not going to rush coming back. It's just not worth it. But after
this pervasive problem is changing the sport's fundamental financial foundations. Think about the clear-cut, indisputable proof. 2 evenings before the Mystics and Fever's planned game, the ticket with the lowest price was a ridiculously low $3. However, the same tickets went from sofa cushions to the requirement for a second mortgage as the identity of this one lady became clear and rumors of her impending visit grew more intense. The market shift we are discussing is so significant that the Fed may need to intervene in order to comprehend it. A strong athlete is not the only force at work here. The entire organization goes into a frenzy as supporters battle over selling a kidney to get a courtside seat as a natural force drains threes from the moon. This one person, one rookie, represents the ultimate golden goose, the golden ticket, and the pot of riches at the end of the rainbow. Regardless,
we'll see. I think, we're trying not to put an exact date out there because it is kind of a day by day thing, and see how I feel. And, this type of injury, you don't know when I wake up, I'll feel, different than the day before, and we'll see. It could be a possibility, but I could also.
However, the announcement that shook the sports world provided actual, astounding evidence of this economic upheaval. Details regarding her injuries. She was supposed to fight Angel Reese's side in a crucial match in Chicago on June 7th. This duel was already a hit at the box office. At first, WNBA game tickets were decently priced at $76. Then, the heartbreaking news arrived. Due to an injury, the sensation would not be able to participate in the game. The market's response was severe, brutal, and quick. The original $76 seats were now only $25. Take a moment to consider that.
The hardest part is just not being able to be involved in practice. I love practice. Not people always not a ton of people always enjoy like coming to practice every single day, but that's something I like really enjoy. Like I really enjoy coming out here and like competing every single day with my teammates. Like that's probably honestly what I miss most. Obviously I miss the games. That goes for anybody that's ever hurt, but like I love practice. I love getting better. So I think that's just kind of been the time for me to like really.
The ticket's worth is immediately and shockingly reduced by her absence. Because the major act isn't there, it's like a huge stadium built for 20,000 yelling fans that all of a sudden reverberates with a soft rustle of empty space. This goes beyond a simple player effect. It is a significant economic restructuring. Without fully understanding the issue, the WNBA is witnessing a decline in its overall financial situation. Caitlin Clark's finances are much different now than they were before, and the latter entails moving them into the luxury tax bracket. If she is the league's best player, you may argue all you want. However, it is indisputable that she is the most significant. It is clear and indisputable that she is worth more than all of the other players put together.
In the game, but I couldn't tell you the exact play something occurred on, and could have occurred over the course of the game too. And then obviously adrenaline like covers up a lot of stuff when you're in the heat of battle. And after the game I had some pain, and then got an MRI, and that kind of gave me the result that I didn't want to see. But those.
An athlete is more than just a basketball player. She is latching to established personalities, changing media narratives, and dribbling bank coffers. Her influence transcends the court and fills the crowd like oxygen. The numbers rise even when she doesn't provide a live performance. Sales of merchandise are rising quickly. Since her arrival, certain teams have recorded an incredible 193% increase in shirt sales. Her appearances are shattering viewing records, forcing TV networks to search for new camera angles and possibly utilize drones to follow her around. She writes for 5 distinct blogs covering various sports-related topics, with every scratch of her nose. In their joint effort, ESPN and National Geographic showcase the wild creatures in her native hardwood environment. The league's social media following is growing at a never-before-seen rate, and casual fans who used to be unable to distinguish between a hot dog stand and a dribble handoff are now passionately discussing zone defense on TikTok. 30 points isn't the sole goal here. It all boils down to a constant, all-pervasive presence that changes the audience's opinion of the WNBA and makes it more well-known. Crowds at NFL games are apparently acting like Taylor Swift, demanding attention even during her warm-ups and yelling louder during pre-game drills than before the opening tip-off, which has security personnel concerned. A stark reminder that if this league simply accepted the show, it might expand considerably. It's a significant shift. And
fans that either sold their tickets or whatever, all of a sudden an emphasis is starting to get thrown onto the tickets where people believe she will be playing, and that's starting to make the ticket prices.
Her absences due to illnesses or unpleasant nights do not appease the tempest. Because supporters only arrive if she does, they simply turn it into a new kind of lunacy. Outside stadia, scalpers are still charging Coachella-level prices. Who else has this invisible power? Even when marginalized, that degree of magnetic pull does not apply to athletes who use passive-aggressive Instagram posts to honor warriors. However, it is essential to give thanks to those who clear the path. The captivating and indisputable story of the 2.5 million spectators who came in to witness this miracle get triple-teamed at half-court is told. It is an indisputable fact. She doesn't compete with them. Her presence is making everyone happier. However, some people appear determined to try to cut the ropes rather than ride the wave to previously unheard of heights, as if they are ignorant of the rising tide that raises all boats.
In many places. The Fever played the Mystics 2 nights ago. The cheapest ticket before her injury was announced was $41, okay? The cheapest one. After her injury was announced and people knew that she wasn't going to be playing, the lowest ticket price dropped to $3. $3. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. The WNBA doesn't quite realize what they have in Caitlin Clark. She is the absolute golden goose, the golden ticket. She is the
narrative then takes an unexpected, nearly fatal turn. You would assume that the league, its players, and its entire ecosystem would give someone who is successfully bringing the entire organization into the public eye a real red carpet. However, some athletes behave as though their endorsement agreements and lunch money were taken by this generational brilliance. Everything in the league appears to be going well, rookie. There may be a few well-chosen compliments, but behind them are several sidelong glances, subliminal body language clues, and barely disguised statements about newcomers having to earn it. You get it? Being the main factor behind record attendance and sold-out venues, as well as the reason your next game will be televised nationally for the first time in 12 years, doesn't seem like enough excuse. A veteran's jealousy or even dread of being overshadowed is typically louder than a buzzer beater during overtime. The irony is obvious. The primary focus of this player's game is not diva theater or demands for preferential treatment. She is launching Logo 3ES while focusing solely on the game's purity, as if her shot chart were GPS-powered. Other players, meanwhile, appear to be discreetly lurking in the background, more concerned with maintaining the league's integrity than changing the regulations. The phenomena of non-gaming is especially illuminating. People still act as though she's about to blow through the tunnel even though she doesn't play. Suddenly, the absence of one child is more noticeable than the entire starting lineup for the home team. However, a lengthy record of player comments and tweets suggests that this child caught attention. She's just a novice, they say. She is selling more tickets than your 3 postseason attempts put together, even though she is only a rookie. It's a perplexing and sometimes dangerous way of thinking. A perplexing opposition to the heyday they have known.
I hate the game she got, because she's really talented, especially for being Palangi, She's like the Stephen Curry of WNBA with the threes and stuff. Proven fact is, they had a game on June 7th scheduled, it was going to be Ada Reese's team, which plays for Chicago, and then for Kaden Clark's team. They were supposed to go up there playing Chicago on June 7th. First, the ticket sales were at $76 a ticket. Then after they found out Kaden Clark.
On the court itself, this strange, unnerving friendship takes a worse turn. The player is receiving unmatched investment and attention while being the league's undisputed motor. However, she is being treated as if she went to a discount store with a full cart. She's being offered more uncalled fouls than a vegan cafe chicken nugget. However, the referees typically wave them aside while appearing unaware or purposefully forgiving. They say, "All right. Proceed." What game are we participating in? Fury's Mad Max Court. This goes beyond simple rough play. The most marketable and valuable player in the league is not adequately protected. She is a priceless treasure and a symbol of the future. They seem to be trying to ascertain the most physical abuse she can withstand before being the subject of a walking insurance.
If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your